Alright, so welcome back to another video. This time, we're reacting to Black Panther versus Black Panther Wakanda Forever, made by this guy. And let's see if it's which one's better. Oh, me personally, what I'm gonna say right now before I do my review for Wakanda Forever, personally, I prefer the first one over the second, but I really did enjoy the second one. It's one of my favorite movies of this year. Wakanda Forever, but yeah, and I'll say it's on par with the first, but like the first one still tops it because yeah. Anyway, without further ado, let's just get right into it. Stop playing. Just get to the video.
In 2020, Chadwick Boseman passed away, and both Marvel and Ryan Coogler had the
Rest in
impossible
peace.
task of making a sequel without their main star. Is this a better movie than its predecessor, or did it fail without its king? We're about to find out. Let the battle commence. The story for Black Panther is that T'Challa returns to Wakanda to take his father's place as the new Black Panther. Meanwhile, a mysterious figure called Killmonger is attempting to infiltrate Wakanda and reveal dark secrets of the Black Panther's ancestors. And the story for Black Panther 2 is that after the very touching scene where T'Challa dies and we have the funeral where Wakanda are oddly both happily dancing around and sad, we then
That's what I noticed too. That they're happy. They're dancing.
Grief, don't they? Anyway, Shuri is still mourning the loss of her brother, and her family have to continue and fulfill the promises that T'Challa gave to the American government. Suddenly, a new character named Namor has surfaced and threatens to wage war against Wakanda and the rest of humanity. Now, the first thing I liked about Wakanda Forever was the commentary that the American government want to come in and take Wakanda's resources to make bigger weapons for their own selfish and corrupt gains.
I like that too.
You hear the nerve in their voices, like they are owed Wakanda's technology, when really...
I got news for you, pal. You ain't leaving but two things right now. Jack and shit.
And then we find out
that's
that
what I
they
would say
were
as
the
well.
ones who sent these mercenaries to steal from the Wakandans, and that scene was great. I wouldn't be surprised if in a future Black Panther movie, the American government would try to villainize the Wakandans just so they can try to justify starting a war and stealing Wakanda's resources by force. That matches the inner workings of real-life wars as we have learned throughout American history, and it would make for a great story. So including that commentary in the movie was incredibly smart, and I am very glad that they did that. And the first Black Panther very much follows the Shakespearean story of Hamlet, where someone tries to take the throne for our main character, and our character has to take the throne back.
Except Killmonger has a great motivation.
Storyline in movies throughout the years, and I really liked this version. You have a great hero and a great villain with really interesting side characters.
Exactly.
And the story of betrayal within the family was executed very well and was even emotional. For the villain, that is. Now, Black Panther 2 is getting praised and criticized for its slower pace, and I personally like that Marvel did a slower paced movie that didn't suck. But I feel like there have already been
Eternals was trash.
movies out there that made a much bigger impact and were far more effective with their pace than Wakanda Forever was. All three of these movies had to deal with grief and were paced slower. And this movie tried to let some of its emotional scenes unfold slower, but it was just decent with the way it
Except the Batman, you can replay it like 2,000
and
times.
of course, you still have those MCU jokes which weren't in here as much, thank God.
Thank God as well.
Definitely noticed them when they happened. And although this movie handled grief well, it didn't emotionally resonate with me as much as it could, and I wanted it to have had.
Really? Because for me personally, it did emotionally resonate with me as well. It actually did with me because it was actually pretty touching. You know, it was a bit depressing at times. You know, it was although a bit too depressing, but still depressing nevertheless. You know.
The opening scene with T'Challa's death was surprisingly emotional, but that's where the emotions peaked for me. The later scenes didn't really get me choked up at all. Also, the new character this movie introduces, called Riri Williams, was just a plot device, and you could have completely taken her out of the story, and it would have made no difference to the plot whatsoever. And she actually made the movie significantly longer than it needed to be, and that did go against the otherwise good pacing. Now, the first movie accomplishes exactly what it sets out to do with its story of betrayal and family heresy, and the pacing could be slow at times to some, but I thought the movie was well paced, and I was pretty much always engaged with what was happening.
Yeah, I
The only
agree.
time it
Black
failed
Panther
as
was
tone
was
the
a better
dumb
pace.
MCU jokes, which I feel were far worse than the jokes in Wakanda Forever. That being said, however, the first movie is 2 hours and 15 minutes, whereas the second movie is
Well, the reason why the first one had more jokes because it was just a good it was just a film with Black Panther. It was just a Black Panther origin, whereas Black Panther 2 is literally the second movie and it doesn't even have Black Panther in it. I mean, yeah, it has Black Panther, but like not T'Challa. Doesn't have T'Challa. It's meant to be a much more darker film because literally the main character is freaking gone. So yeah, it makes sense that Wakanda Forever doesn't have as much jokes as the first film because we're literally dealing with a loss.
2 hours and 41 minutes, and I don't think it's saying much more than the first movie did to justify that runtime. And the story overall just doesn't feel as tight and focused.
Oh, I love
And
that.
really do
I
think
love that
cutting
soundtrack
the
from
villains
Shuri.
out of the movie would have brought the runtime down
When Shuri
just the
became the
right
Black
amount.
Panther,
So
I
I
love
like
the I love
the
the
second
I love the
movie, but
soundtrack.
it feels like it's longer than it needed to be, and the intrigue was not as well spread out throughout the story. The first movie, however, maintained a good pace and didn't feel like it was padding the story out with any unneeded plot devices or setups for future movies. So I like the stories for both films, but the movie with the all-round superior story with regards to writing, pacing, and execution is the first Black Panther.
Here it comes.
Now,
I love the soundtrack.
he was honestly the least interesting
That was
character
so.
in the first Black Panther
Wait,
movie. Now,
what? What'd you say?
first Black Panther.
That soundtrack was so
Now,
fire.
Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa. He was honestly the least interesting character in the first Black Panther movie. Now, it was not his fault, because he was great in Civil War, where he was given a very captivating revenge story with a great conclusion to his arc. But in his own movie, every other character was far more interesting than he was. That being said, though, in Black Panther 2, his absence was really felt. They pay a nice tribute to him in the opening of the movie, and they constantly acknowledge him, which definitely helps, but it's not the same as actually having him. And although I like the
So if it's not the same as actually having them, why is he not interesting to begin with? You know? Great. Hold on. No.
tribute they did to Chadwick Boseman, the actor, I didn't think it was good for the character of T'Challa, and I think it was a big missed opportunity for them to not have him killed off by either Namor or an outside threat like Kang or Doctor Doom, which would be a great way of making us and the whole MCU have it out for them. So in my opinion, even though
I heard that Doctor Doom was supposed to be in this movie, but they cut him out for whatever reason.
That it needed to make the character's death feel that inconsequential to the rest of the story going forward. And I feel like that was a disservice to the character of T'Challa, but at the same time, I get what troubles they were under. So it's a hard tightrope to walk, but I think they could have done a better job at killing off the character whilst also respecting the actor. Because like I said, I personally didn't really get the feels when they were trying to get us emotional about him. Now on the plus side, the side characters for Black Panther were
I really did love that Shuri theme.
So I was glad to see them again, and seeing them have to come to grips with losing their king. And this was great to watch. It rarely ever happens, but it was nice to see an MCU movie where the drama and the characters were the center stage, and not them quipping or making jokes. And Shuri, of all people, I thought they handled her story very well, and it didn't come off as
Shuri was my favorite character in the movie.
With Captain Marvel and She-Hulk. This movie was left with a very hard situation, that being the real-life death of their main character. And to replace that person with a side character, it's no easy task. And I thought they did a really good job of giving her an arc and making it difficult for her to take up the mantle.
To be fair though, that was gonna happen either way, because for one, realistically, literally, that's his freaking sister. And two, that happened in the comics, so yeah, of course it was gonna happen.
Of the Black Panther, and to even give her her own revenge story like what T'Challa had. So I felt
for Shuri in this movie, especially when her mother died.
Riri Williams, and her inclusion was so obviously just here to set her up for her future Disney Plus series. And she also made the movie feel like a cartoon from beginning all the way into the end when she got into her new Power Rangers suit.
That's her Ironheart suit.
With Shuri. Well, that's exactly what they did with Riri. In the first Iron Man, Stark made that prototype suit that couldn't fly that high and broke down. And this is adult Tony Stark. But 19-year-old Riri here made a suit that could fly so high into the hemisphere, and her suit didn't malfunction or freeze up or anything. I can buy that a mutant man lives underwater. I can even sort of buy the wings in his ankles, as funny as they are. I cannot buy that a 19-year-old can build a fully functioning Iron Man suit that fires energy beams and can fly over the hemisphere. And the movie gets even dumber. She's never had combat training, so what is she doing in this big final war-like battle? She brought this movie down from being a heavier drama to feeling like a generic MCU kids film. And what really hurts about this is that she takes away screen time from other characters that barely got any. You might have realized.
I still felt the movie was serious, even with or without Riri Williams. You know, yes, she may have some comedy here and there, but like she still contributes to the plot. If
And
you
then maybe she learned from Tony Stark and learned from his mistakes.
yeah, like we never really seen what she done like before she entered the movie. You know, so maybe she had experience with not even just with Stark Enterprises or her family. You know.
Is that when I was talking about the characters, I did not once mention M'Baku, and that's because he is barely in Wakanda forever, and that
Facts.
is very bad.
Facts. FAX facts. That's one thing I can say. They should have gave him Baku more screen time. I really loved him so much. I honestly thought he was gonna have more screen time, but turns out he didn't. It was just about Shuri, Queen Ramonda, the agent guy, the agent Ross. Yeah. Oh, Nakia. Yeah, Nakia. Yeah.
When you take into account that he actually had a complicated relationship with T'Challa. Just think about it. T'Challa is someone who he looked at as a rival, someone he wanted to overthrow, someone he thought should not have taken the throne, but that he should have instead. And he challenges him for it and loses. And yet, in spite of that, he clearly had respect for him and even heals him and then accepts him as his king. But I always thought that if you asked him if
And
he was
plus,
happy
over
about
time
it,
in Infinity War and Endgame, you see them working together. So obviously, I wanted M'Baku to have more screen time, considering that their relationship has grown from Black Panther to Infinity War and Endgame. I kind of wanted M'Baku to have more screen time, you know? In fact, I kind of wanted M'Baku to, like, kind of, you know, train Shuri to, like, have strength and speed and even have weapons, you know? But it is what it is. At least we got our Black Panther now.
M'Baku would still have some reluctance inside of him and some ill feelings towards T'Challa, as he was never fully on board with him being his king. So see how he reacts once he finds that T'Challa is dead, and now he...
I want that reaction right there. I wanted that reaction. Wait a minute, we kind of got that. Oh wait, we didn't. We didn't really see M'Baku's reaction to. Oh, right. We didn't really see. Uh, we didn't really see M'Baku's reaction to the Black Panther.
could take the throne like he always wanted, it would have been so interesting to see how this would have mentally affected his character, now that the obstacle that was blocking his path is gone, but not in the way he would have liked. This movie just as much could have been a great character study of M'Baku as it was for Shuri, and him eventually choosing to protect T'Challa's younger sister as a dying promise to his king. But none of that was delved into with any kind of depth, because he didn't get nearly enough screen time, and again, that's most likely because they had to make room for Riri, and her inclusion really does stab the movie from every angle. She affects the story, she affects the pacing, she affects the characters, the action, and even the villain, which we will talk more about later. In the first movie, every character had a purpose, and their motivations were very clear and tightly written. But Wakanda Forever feels flimsy, and it's understandable as it was a big undertaking to make a movie around side characters, and to do it so quickly to meet both Disney and Marvel's deadlines. But the movie we have is the movie we have, and when compared to the characters in the first Black Panther, they just didn't feel as interesting and fleshed out to me, which I did enjoy. But T'Challa's Luke Skywalker arc, where he doesn't listen to the lessons of his predecessors and does things his way, was much more captivating to me than the similar realization that Shuri gets regarding her mother. And all of these things just makes the characters and their developments feel more uneven in Black Panther 2, whereas I feel like everyone had the perfect amount of development time in the first movie.
Meet your new favorite hydration. It is hyaluronic plus Plus Peptide 24 collection.
First movie. And that's not even counting the fact that we have Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther, but once you do count him, that undeniably makes the movie with superior characters the first Black Panther.
Yeah, you can say that for sure.
Now, I have already mentioned that I wasn't a fan of the action in the first Black Panther. I thought it was very amateur in its execution, was incredibly basic,
I like the action in the
very
first Black
unimpressive
Panther,
CGI,
but the second Black
unfinished
Panther.
CGI, and it was just very boring to sit through. And the way it wouldn't even try to hide its PG-13 rating was laughable at times.
No blood.
The car chase scene was by far the best action scene in the entire movie, even though the CGI was really quite terrible at times here too. I also thought that the challenge scenes were pretty decent too, and harkened back to Ryan Coogler's Creed movie, but every other action scene was a complete disappointment to me, and was done much better in Infinity War. Now in Black Panther 2, we had our first proper action scene at around the 40-minute mark, and it was a car chase scene. And this car chase was so bad that I actually got scared for a second. It lacked any of the creativity that the car chase in the first Black Panther had, it didn't have anywhere near the variety, and it just felt incredibly basic. On the plus side, you actually had practical car crashes, which is new for Phase 4 of the MCU, but then it ended with a CGI jellyfish car crash. So the car chase felt like a huge downgrade to me, and that got me concerned for the rest of the action. However, I am glad to say that the rest of the action was a lot better, and a much needed improvement over the action in the first movie. It felt like a lot more was going on, and they actually had time to choreograph the action a lot more. Now that being said, the action was still not great. It's not the kind of action that you'd rush to watch again, as again, it's really quite basic and even very PG-13 friendly. And there are no slightly more violent moments, such as the little blood that we saw in the first movie, or
Yeah.
the extreme PG-13 violence that we recently saw in Black Adam. And that is a shame, as there were times where people were stabbing each other with spears or swiping each other with swords, and it all felt weightless. There was a point when Namor punches M'Baku so hard that his armor breaks into pieces, and the impact happens in slow-mo like he got hurt very badly. But then he just brushes the punch off like it was nothing. Also, Namor's people cannot be killed with simple stab wounds or broken bones, as they seem to get right back up and heal themselves. But did Wakanda think about cutting their heads off? It's something that is perfectly doable with a PG-13 rating. We have seen it happen in The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and even in Fox's PG-13 X-Men movies. The reason that kind of thing is not even attempted here, even though it could, is because the limitations of the MCU are taking the possibilities away. But none of this seems to matter, because later the Wakandans just fight them and they go down like normal enemies. So the action in Wakanda Forever was overall better than the first movie, but it was still lacking. So this just confirms that director Ryan Coogler's strongest quality as a director is not action. And this really worries me, because it's being rumored that he will direct Avengers Secret Wars, which is all about action. And I think
Exactly.
he's really not the best talent for the
Avengers
job. But as for the
Avengers Secret Wars is it should be the greatest movie in the entire history of Marvel, considering that literally every Marvel movie or character, at least variants, are literally all gonna appear, thanks to Toby and Andrew appearing in No Way Home. But like, yeah, let's see how he does it.
action in both of these movies, they have their strong points, but they also have a lot of weak points too. But the car chase aside, I can easily say without a shadow of a doubt that the movie with the superior action
The second
is
one.
Black Panther
Yeah.
2.
Killmonger's the better
And
villain.
Namor has an interesting introduction. I like that it was trying to be a horror scene, but I thought it was too underplayed and diluted. I don't know if Marvel had a hand in this, but I think a more experienced horror director would have made the scene much more horrific. I mean, I like the setup, but it just felt quite downplayed in terms of horror, atmosphere, and even the PG-13 rating. And I don't think his introduction is as intimidating as the movie thinks it is. And it didn't have the same impact and badassery that Killmonger had. And Killmonger didn't use a single explosion. Now that being said, Namor
He just
as a
uses his
character felt like
words.
he was a lot more collected and calm.
Yeah.
Whereas Killmonger was acting calm, but was really bottling up his rage, and then eventually let it all out once he reveals who he is to Wakanda. So they are both slightly different in that respect. And I like how Namor sees that society is full of people who steal resources from others, and he wants to defend his people from that potential threat.
Yeah, that I
Again,
liked for
thought
sure.
That was very
And I
smart
noticed.
commentary to include, and I was very glad that they did. One thing I thought, though, is that with Killmonger, you understood what drove him to war. The movie did a great job of showing you his emotional state and where his ideals came from, and how his personal anger and grief drove him to war. But Namor is a more collected villain, someone who thinks more rationally, and for a character that is very put together and has his emotions in check, I thought he chose the war path very quickly, and I'm like, this makes no sense. You've been given a backstory of sorts, but I don't think it justifies going to war this quickly. That should be a last resort. And why are you involving the Wakandans? They are very much victims in their own way. So if you want to start a war, start it. But leave the Wakandans out of it. But he very much wanted an alliance with them and essentially said, you're either with us or against us. There is no in between.
All because he wanted to kill Riri. But Shuri cannot allow it.
Felt shaky and the problem started to come in. I mean, Shuri gives him a method of peacefully resolving this issue, and his answer is no. It felt like he just wanted a war because he's a bit of an asshole and used his backstory as an excuse. Killmonger had similar ingredients, but his reason for wanting to start a war felt like an organic direction for his character to go, as crazy and bloodthirsty as he was. That's not the case for Namor, and the main reason why Namor wants to start a war is because of Riri Williams.
Exactly.
I think that this needed just one more rewrite, and then it would have been perfect. But as is, most likely due to deadlines, Namor's motivation was good, but it did feel underwritten. Also, with Killmonger, there was mystery and there was intrigue surrounding him. Who is this guy? And how does he seem to know so much about Wakanda? And what is he up to? Namor, on the other hand, doesn't have any mystery about him.
Because his
And although
dad
his
is
story
practically
started
from
out
Wakanda.
making sense, the more it went on, it felt like the writing started to get quite loose and inconsistent.
Speaking of
And in
Killmonger,
addition to that,
hold on.
it
Speaking
felt
of
like it was
Killmonger,
too-
spoiler alert if y'all haven't seen Wakanda Forever. I like Killmonger's return. I like the fact that he returned.
I do too. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed his return.
And I like the fact that he kind of built up Shuri's rage. Yeah, when after Queen Ramonda's deaths.
Yeah.
So yeah, which kind of made Shuri come a little aggressive as well. So yeah.
underplayed and didn't leave as strong an impact as other villains with this war complex, such as both versions of Magneto did, or Thanos did, or even Killmonger did. He just didn't come across as the intimidating mastermind those other Marvel villains did. There was also this right-hand woman that Namor had.
More than just vitamin C.
Imagine
Choose
comparing
more from
Namor
Vitamins
to
and
Thanos.
Insulin.
I mean, Namor is a great villain, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Who kept pushing him to take the violent approach, and I honestly thought that she was so freaking forgettable that if she died, I wouldn't even really know what it meant to Namor. Whereas Killmonger's girlfriend, who had next to no screen time in the first movie and next to no lines, was much more memorable, and you know how much it hurt Killmonger to kill her, but he did it anyway. That level of depth is not there with Namor and his hench people. Killmonger, in all honesty, is just a much more tightly written villain, and although they tried to give Namor a reason for his tyranny, it just didn't work as well in the end, and the reason felt kind of half-baked and not fully thought out, especially when compared to Killmonger. So Namor is definitely a decent villain, but the movie with a superior villain is the first
Killmonger.
Black Panther.
Honestly, besides Thanos, I think so far, before Kang or Doctor Doom or Galactus shows up, so far I think Killmonger is just the best MCU villain.
Best villain, yeah.
Yeah, besides Thanos, I think Killmonger is just the best MCU villain.
Now, for all the praise I'm giving it, the first Black Panther had its own fair share of problems as well. The CGI was terrible, the green screen was on par with movies from the early 2000s.
You can say
the
that.
action scenes were inexcusably underwhelming, and there was no rewatch value. You hope to appreciate the action scenes or...
No rewatch about it. No rewatch value.
Yeah. We watched that so many times. That's just a matter of his perception.
Yeah, that's just your opinion.
The world thought otherwise.
Yeah, I cannot name the amount of times I watched Black Panther over and over again. Heck, I'll say this: Black Panther is one of the most memorable Marvel films of all time.
Mhm.
You can say that. It was practically just a cultural impact. You know,
I agree completely.
like, do you know how many times me and my mom saw the first Black Panther movie?
Numerous times.
Yeah, when it was in theaters. Heck, you can say the same for Wakanda Forever. You know.
catch details on your second viewing that you never noticed the first time round. And despite watching this movie for the second and even third time, I got nothing new out of it. If anything, the flaws just became more apparent to me, especially with the action. And as for Wakanda Forever,
That's
it
your
was
opinion,
decent.
though,
The
so-
movie isn't groundbreaking in any new way. It's playing in the same sandbox that the MCU has already been playing in for many years. It doesn't push the bar any further with regards to its tone or even its violence. If anything, the violence is pulled back, and even tonally, I would say that the movie feels quite mundane. The underwater world just felt like another generic and uninspired CGI world that we have seen countless times from the MCU. It was also incredibly small. I mean, seriously, this is your underwater kingdom.
It's a bit small, isn't it?
I appreciate that this movie focused on grief a lot more, but at its core, this still felt like an MCU movie, right down to the increasingly forced setups for future projects, even at the expense of the current movie's story. And then you also get the conveniences that Disney have just been full of lately. Shuri gets stabbed really badly, and she's perfectly fine. What is up with Disney and their characters surviving fatal stab wounds lately? First Iron Man, then twice in Obi-Wan, then there was Thanos, the first Black Panther, Thor Love and Thunder, and now Shuri. I will say this in Wakanda Forever's defense. On paper, I love this movie. Aside from the problems I mentioned earlier, I think
Shuri have vibranium and she was in the suit,
Exactly.
so that practically I don't know, but like you can say that technically counts, but like I kind of see where you're coming from because I kind of noticed that too. Like she literally got stabbed right through her chest.
But she was in the suit.
Yeah, but like she was still like in pain though. Like she was still kind of in pain though, and then she had to like push her way out of the spear or the knife.
Because she was able to, because she had taken the heart-shaped herb.
Oh yeah, right, makes sense. And that grants you strength. And wait, but does that heal you though?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I need to watch the movie again.
Watch the first one when he, after he fights M'Baku.
Oh, he took.
And then he goes.
Oh wait, they took it away from him when he fought.
Yeah, and then they gave it back to him when he went to the ancestral plane.
Yeah.
And it healed him.
Yeah, makes sense. I'm a Marvel fan. Guys, don't think I'm some fake Marvel fan. It's just my mom really loves the Black Panther films a lot. It's just, yeah.
it is a very well written script. In execution, though, it needed to be much more. It needed to be more.
It was actually, I would say it's executed well as well.
More with the tone, it needed to be more with the action, and it did need to tighten up the writing for Namor, as well as make him darker to truly have him leave a strong impact. But his impact didn't really compare to what came before. This movie is better than the rest of the Phase 4 MCU movies, but one of the things it has in common is
you can
that
say
I
that.
left feeling empty.
Oh yeah, stay tuned for my Wakanda Forever review. I'm gonna say if this is my favorite Phase 4 MCU film, or if Spider-Man No Way Home. Spider-Man No Way Home or Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Oh yeah, my mom thinks Black Panther is better though. Just to put that out there. But y'all gonna hear what I have to say because I really did love. As a Spider-Man fan, Spider-Man is my favorite comic book character. Literally look on the profile of my YouTube account. You could just tell. And seeing Toby and Andrew and all the Spider-Man fan service, that was enough for me to say yes. And the darker tone and the story in general. But Black Panther Wakanda Forever though. This Black Panther film really did touch me as well. So you're gonna hear what I have to say about both films in my Wakanda Forever review. Since I noticed some similarities as well. So yeah.
Imagine leaving a 2-hour and 45-minute movie and feeling empty. And even though the first Black Panther lacks rewatch value, I can see myself watching the movie again, and I have. But with Wakanda Forever, I've seen it once, and I really don't care to see it again.
Just to let y'all know, I saw the movie 4 times while it was in theaters. 4 times.
Much like the rest of Phase 4, it's time for the scores. The first Black Panther gets a high 7 out of 10, and Wakanda Forever.
7?
What?
I watched his... guys, just to let y'all know, I've seen his Black Panther versus Aquaman video. He gave it an 8 out of 10 before.
And you know what, Black Panther to me is definitely 9 9 or a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I would say it's more so of a 9 to me because I kind of had some. There were some issues here and there as well. I noticed, but yeah,
Wakanda Forever.
it was an 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to give it a regular 7 out of 10, but the more I thought about it, my score went down to a high 6 out of 10. Wakanda Forever to me was decent.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
All right, all right. I would say the first Black Panther is better than the second one. I'll admit, and I agree, but like, I'll erase this. That's your opinion. I'm not gonna judge you. That's your opinion. Plus, I like this YouTuber, and plus, but me personally, I'll just raise the scores. I'll give it the first Black Panther a 9 out of 10, and the second one an 8.
Good, it was just decent. It is better than all
Everything's
of the MCU
gonna
movies
be
phase four,
alright.
but at the same time,
Alright.
that really isn't saying
Everything's
much.
gonna
The
be
movie was
alright.
longer than it needed to be, and single-handedly, Riri Williams came in, and well, this is an example of Marvel trying to forcefully set up a new character for their cinematic universe, and it compromised every aspect of this movie. This does not give me confidence for her own Disney Plus show. I really hope they come back to T'Challa's death and
Yeah, she has a Disney Plus show coming, Ironheart.
say that it was cat.
I don't know, probably next year or 2024.
Or Doctor Doom that was
Hold on, he just said.
compromised every aspect of this movie. This does not give me confidence for her own Disney Plus show. I really hope they come back to T'Challa's death and say that it was Kang or Doctor Doom that was responsible.
No. Just keep it the way it is, you know. No. Actually, no. Knowing Wakanda, T'Challa dies from not Chadwick, but T'Challa, the character, dies from a cancer or disease. Oh wait, I'll admit this though. That did not really make that much sense, considering that he could just heal him from vibranium.
I was thinking that too, but I didn't want to bring that up. That's why I would.
No, I would say this though. Yes, Doctor Doom or Kang, like you said in the video, it would have tied more into Shuri's character, and it would have actually set up for Secret Wars for her to return as the Black Panther in the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, which she was already gonna return anyway. But yeah, but yeah, I get what he's saying. I think because I heard some people say that T'Challa should have been like killed in battle or in combat, like combat.
I don't think so.
Like when he's like sacrificed himself.
Yeah, but if he would have been in combat, he would have been the Black Panther. So how much could they really hurt him with his protective suit the way she created it?
It makes sense, yeah. But again, I don't know. Like I honestly didn't know what to do. How the hell is to kill off T'Challa besides the disease that they went with, or the in combat? So yeah.
I'm shocked he didn't bring up Killmonger in this and Wakanda Forever. Is this the end of his review?
Yeah, it's not a review. It's a versus like comparison.
Yeah. How come he didn't bring up Killmonger? Well, this is his. Let me be quiet.
For his sickness. So it feels like Black Panther died contributing to the next phase, even though he's not going to be in it. His death and presence will hover over the entire.
Oh yeah, I really did love that opening.
Yeah.
With Chadwick contributing. I already knew it was gonna happen. To be fair.
And it would give us a big reason to hate the next villain. Regardless, I applaud their attempt at making Wakanda Forever, as it could have been so much worse. So I definitely do appreciate the movie for that. And if you enjoyed it, then that's great. It really
I enjoyed the living heck out of it. I really loved it.
is.
I
But for
enjoyed it
me,
too.
it
Yeah.
just didn't quite win me over like the first movie did.
Of course.
Thanks very much for watching, guys. And I would like to give a huge thank you to all of my patrons.
Yeah, take care, Eric Carter. So yeah, that was the reaction to Black Panther versus Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And I just can't wait to see Kang. See if Kang is gonna be a better villain than Thanos. Which I think he's gonna be as a comic book fan. So yeah, that's all I got to say now. So yeah, the first Black Panther was better. I'll still love the second one though. Stay tuned for my review. I'm out. Peace. Shout out to this guy for this great video. Even though there were some things I kind of disagree with, but yeah, I'm out. Peace.